Hello, hello. How's everyone feeling? I feel like we can do a lot better than that. How's everyone feeling? All right. Well, my name is Savannah M. Taylor. I'm the Editorial Director at EBONY. It's been a privilege, one, to sit in the back and see all of you guys' reactions. How great was that? Alrighty, so we're going to get started. First, I'd like to introduce Gary Lennon, showrunner, writer, and executive producer. Yes. Next, we're going to invite on Kris D, Lofton, Jenard Sampson. All right, next we'll have Isaac Keys, Diamond Sampson. Awesome. Now, continue this energy, y'all. We're going to give it up for Joseph, Sikora, Tommy Egan.
There we go.
All righty.
Savannah, real quick before we get started, can we just put our attention right here to the front row and get a little ovation for the president of programming of the STARZ network, Catherine.
Yeah.
Stand up. Let him see you. Give some love, everybody. Hey,
All righty. How are you guys feeling?
pretty great.
Feeling great. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, man. Excited. That was dope, right?
Yes.
Yeah, how was it like sitting in the back kind of chilling but seeing the audience reactions for the first time? How was it like to see this?
Yeah, like what Joseph said, it's like it's amazing seeing it on the big screen. Like we can see so many more nuances, and it's like, and then sitting back here seeing everybody's reactions and the laughter.
No,
and
for
stuff.
real.
Like, you know, it's not just me sitting in my living room watching. Now I'm seeing everybody. I'm like, wow, that's
Don't do
they
those.
into
Don't.
it.
Drugs, Jenard. Don't
Yeah. Don't do it. I know.
Yeah, somebody said, "Don't do it, baby." I heard it in the back. I said, "Okay, I got you."
Gary, I'm going to start with you. You have been deeply entrenched in the Power universe from start to finish, and now continuing Tommy's arc. What has it been like to see the series through to completion in this way, but being able to usher in this last lap for the rest of the crew and for Tommy's story?
Yeah, I think that, myself and the writer's room, having come into this season, we knew where we wanted to go, but we didn't know exactly how to get there. And then slowly the stories started to reveal themselves, and it was important for all of us to give Jenard, Isaac, every single person a great ending for this show, for this season. And I think when you see what we did, I think we delivered upon the promise that we made to the audience when we first started.
So when you were in the writer's room for this final season, did you know it was going to be the final season, or were you just kind of filling it out, seeing how we best bring it to a close?
Oh, Catherine and folks at STARZ and Lionsgate, we talked early on. We decided that this was going to be the final chapter of Force Together. Joseph came in on that conversation as well. And then we decided collectively, where we wanted to go. Like, I had a definite vision of where I wanted to bring the show. We discussed it. We got signed off. Catherine's a great partner for the show. She's a big fan of the universe. And so we made some decisions, and then we wrote to them.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing to be able to close things out on your own terms. And for you, Joseph, you've been with Tommy for such a long time, and we've seen Tommy just be a bad somebody, you know? Right?
Somebody's got to do work.
For you, what has the experience been like growing with him, growing through him, and what have you learned about yourself through playing Tommy?
That you are blessed and lucky every day. You have a long day at work. Don't complain when it's a 15-hour day. There's thousands of people, tens of thousands of people who would die to be in your position, that it doesn't take much to be nice, that you treat the porter like the CEO, and you can have a lot of fun, and good guys can win.
Absolutely. And for Isaac and Kris, the Power universe has been such a monumental part of culture. No matter what background you're from, you enjoy watching and getting to know the characters' stories, joining this universe. What was that experience like, and how does it feel to be a part of something so monumental?
For me, like you all, I was a fan of Power as well. I would go to the watch parties. I DVR it when it first came on, go home so I can make sure I watch it, don't miss it. It was a conversational piece. Everybody talked about Power. So, being an actor, when this came to my forefront and I had to do an audition, you know, of course I'm elated. You know, I'm like reading the character, the breakdown, like, oh my God, finally, like it's me, it's me, I can do this, you know. But you know, it's just you don't get that much as an actor where you just feel so connected to the scene or to the characters. These characters as Diamond Sampson. So you know, it was just I just wanted, once I got the role, I just really wanted to bring value to it. It's such an amazing franchise and such an amazing world, and you fans are so great that, you know I need to bring my A game, and I had a great cast and crew and writers to help me do that.
No, same. Good answer, bro. And I think for me, just like Isaac said, I was a fan. I say super fan. So much to the point that I forgot once I actually booked it that I'm still a part of those rabbit hole Facebook groups that talks nothing but power. I'm already a part of that, so I get those notifications like I'm still just a regular fan like that, not in it, you know? So sometimes I stop myself from replying to some of those comments. I'm like, Chris, you can't do that anymore. You're on the show. You have to stop. You can't reply to everybody. Chris, just stop. You can't do that. So for me, it's an honor, first and foremost, and it still feels surreal. A lot of it still hasn't hit me that this is actually real, but for me, because I was such a fan of it and power, honestly, no exaggeration. It meant so much that I told myself I was nervous. I got scared at first, and for the first time, I've been acting 27 years. It was like, be careful what you ask for, because now you asked, and now you got it. What are you going to do? And I was just so nervous, like, okay, do not be the guy that makes me hate my own favorite show. Please don't be the guy that ruins my favorite universe. Like, that's what I just got so nervous all of a sudden. I was like, whoa, okay, this is power. Everybody's going to watch this. If you're not good, they're going to tell you. I was like, so I got a little nervous, but then the nerves calmed down because of all of the support from the cast members, man, all my castmates, and Gary. When Gary sat me down for that meeting in season 2 and he told me the journey that you were taking Jenard on, I was like, I trust you, Gary Lennon. I said, I trust you, Gary Lennon, blindly at times, but I do. And that's a testament to how just amazing Gary is. And like I said, because I was a fan from the beginning, I remember seeing his name in those credits. I would study the credits like, okay, if I ever get an audition for something and I read the breakdown, I know Tim Christensen, I know Gary Lennon, I know Chris Selleck, I know all these names. I remember them. And I said, okay, I'm going to catch all of you one day. And I did.
I just want to say that in the writer's room, when we started the second season with Isaac and Kris, the writers were so excited to write for them, because of their performance and the potential in their characters. And so in the second season, when we sat down, we were really, really juiced to give like Isaac his thing, to Kris his thing, and they rose to the occasion. And I thought they had a great second season, and their third season is great too.
Absolutely. And thinking of, the fandom that is, along for the ride, and the writers that you all are able to bring their stories to life through your respective roles, and then Gary, you in the room, what are some signature things that you wanted to make sure remained true when it came to crafting this final season, and make sure that there were, whether they were Easter eggs or just things that you knew true fans would be able to spot out?
Well, I think people love to see Tommy crazy. So I was like, okay, yeah. I was like, let's give him some crazy every single episode, And then I know people love to see Tommy funny, so like, or like humorous or dark humor. And so like, let's find those moments where, Joseph on set will add to that. But like, let's find a situation we can put him in that will allow him to be free to find that thing. And, with Kris, it's like, he's so dropped in and gritty and raw, and like, so let's present opportunities for him to be messy like that he's so fun to watch like that. And then for Isaac, I remember when we sat down, Isaac, because everyone, he's the gentle giant, and he's like, when am I fucking killing somebody? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, hold up, it's coming. But, it's important for me to give the audience really what you want. And I think because I listen to the audience, how much they love all of you and what you do. And then I want to like serve that up to you and be like, yeah, there it goes. Do you like it? And there you go.
Absolutely. So after some long waits and some tension, we finally see Tommy and Diamond in business with each other, making things work, even though it's a little touch and go, and they're trying to figure out their balance. For both you, Joseph, and Isaac respectively, do you feel like the other valued each other as partners, or was it still some kind of underlying things that you just got to see play out?
For me, I think Diamond is just really conflicted between, he wants his brother to be by his side, but he also knows he sees the intensity and the value in what Tommy's doing and how he's moving. And I think it's about those motives, and can Diamond keep up? See, see, that's what I'm talking. He won't act right. He won't act right. To turn my back like this, he started doing stuff behind it, just like the show. But he's trying to, he's getting pulled in both directions. In his perfect world, he would like both of them to just work together and let's just get this money, get this money. But it's not working that way. And I think that it's good to see how these writers have just taken everybody on a journey about alliances. How's that work? But love and relationships, and not just with us, but all the other characters. You see how everybody has something going on. Like you're like, well, how do I keep up with all of this? Like, so it's amazing to see this, and we just look forward to seeing how it's going to unfold.
Somebody once told me, look, Joseph, to know you is to love you, but when you don't make me money anymore, I'm not gonna fuck with you, so don't take it personally. And I think that's how Tommy feels about Diamond. To know you is to love you, but if you don't make me money anymore, I ain't gonna fuck with you, so don't take it personal.
Absolutely. And same for you, Kris. I mean, Jenard, he's not playing and not really feeling, Diamond in business and partnership with Tommy. Do you think that for those of us who haven't seen, the rest of the season, is it going to go down to where he feels like he got to take actions into his own hands, or?
Well, I mean, I can't give spoilers. But yeah, I just, I don't think Jenard is too much of a fan of it. I honestly feel, I've said this on multiple interviews, I just feel like Jenard is the voice of the fans and also the voice of the Chicago viewers, the viewers who are from Chicago, because Kris is from Chicago, and so is Jenard. So to me, I try to make little small subtleties and delicacies in my character, or even in my delivery, or sometimes if I'm able to ad-lib. The scripty hates me, though, because I'm always adding stuff. Like, yeah, scripty hates me. I'll be like, Kris,
loves you.
Kris, can we get one clean one? Can we say what we wrote? I was like, but I feel like I'm the voice of the fans, because to me, I'm thinking about it. I always say this. I say that Jenard, he's supposed to not be privy to any of the stuff that Tommy is and was in New York. The badass gangster that Tommy is, that we all know and love. Jenard is not supposed to know that. To Jenard, Tommy is a stranger. To Jenard, Tommy is just a new guy in Chicago, a white man in Chicago, who may or may not be the police. Nobody knows. So why does everybody trust him? Like I don't understand why I'm the only one who.
Valid points. Valid. So why aren't y'all questioning him enough? Absolutely. With that in mind, between Jenard, Diamond, and Tommy, what subtleties do you feel like were important to bring out of each character this year? Loyalty, redemption, or legacy?
For Jenard, I'm going to go redemption.
I think that's all applied to Tommy. I think that all of us were responsible enough to take all of those aspects into consideration. We got such a nuanced story from Gary and the rest of the writing team that everybody took it upon themselves. I try to conduct myself in a way that we expect greatness, we expect promptness, but you try to make sure that you lead by example of coming prepared and respecting the writers and respecting everybody. And I think that because of that, we have a really outstanding, cohesive, ensemble-based season.
Yeah.
Just how I was pondering over that, I feel like how Diamond is. Diamond is he is conflicted right now. Diamond is he wants some kumbaya moments in the streets, and it ain't happening right now. I feel like, even as as playing the character, as Gary alluded to earlier about, when he gonna kill somebody. I mean, it's like Diamond. I just feels like, he just doesn't know. He's just trying to get it together, man. Like, like he's really I really feel that way. Like he's had such a long fuse, as you said before. Like he's been taking on so much. He's tolerating. Like, okay, Tommy, what we doing next? All right, no, I don't like that, but we're gonna do it. And but he's doing it. But how long can he tolerate those things? And I think that he's tweeters between the loyalty, the redemption, and the but all of that. So I think that's what they're gonna do a great job of just really kind of laying out and letting it unfold throughout the season.
But speaking of kumbaya moments, it's another real nod to the Gary and the writers that a lot of these Chicago-based street gangs that moved heavyweight. Think of the first international federal crimes that were ever international crimes prosecuted by a federal government was the street gang, the El Rukns in Chicago. And the El Rukns also started off as a neo Muslim group for the advancement of young black men on the South Side. You think of the conservative vice lords who started off in similar ways. You think of the Wilo D's who became who were originally the young lords on the southwest side of Chicago, a Latin advancement thing. So these kumbaya moments can devolve into street gangs because of the systems that they build. And I think that Gary did an incredibly responsible job of researching this and giving us the history of Chicago in real time through street life.
Better come on with the history. Yes.
We'll give it to you.
But that's important in, your respective portrayals, but bringing something like this to life, you care. So the care shows through on the screen. And prepping for this final season, what type of research or self-work went into prepping for your portrayals this final season? That's for anyone to answer.
You guys should probably go. I mean, I've been doing it for 13 years. I was just like, let's be Tommy again.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, which is fun. I love it.
All right. For me, for season 3, I think coming into season 3 for me was a little bit different than season 2 because, like I said, I sat down with Gary season 2 and he told me the journey that Jenard would be going on with addiction and battling addiction. And I remember Gary said, we're gonna drop Jenard solo, Kris. He's gonna hit rock bottom, but then he's gonna rise like a phoenix, Kris. He's gonna rise. There will be a redemption. I was like, okay, I was into it. I was like, all right, let's do it. So I feel like for this season, I kind of prepared myself in a way where it was more so mental because I know that I have to, you just said, teeter that line between battling addiction or is he gonna stay clean? And just trying to find like those little moments where I could be like, how we just saw in the car. It's like little things. Like, okay, learning how to like fidget and have withdrawals and stuff like that because Kris don't do no drugs. But so I don't know how to have withdrawals, but I had to I was trying to prepare myself with all of these things. So I felt like I really did do a deep dive with my mental more than anything, just preparing myself for this season. And then knowing that it was going to be the final one, I feel like I told myself, okay, now let's truly give it your all. Not like I wasn't seasons 1 and 2, but now even more so.
Can I ask a quick question, Kris? How come Gary gets kind of this motivational speaker white guy voice?
No. I knew he was going to say that.
But when he imitates me in the press, he's like, Joseph was like, oh my gosh, guys, this was just something else.
Well, you know what, Kris? So do I not just sound like Joseph? Hey, Kris. That's how he talks.
I know you mentioned season 3 and the preparation going to that, but I have to, I would be remiss if I didn't really shout out Joseph for helping me in season 1. Just because as soon as I touched down in Chicago, he welcomed me into the city, and we actually did a ride along, and we went through. I'm talking about through the neighborhoods, and it was really weird because I was sitting in the back seat, and there was 2 white guys in the front. I was like, oh, I look like a snitch right now. Right into these neighborhoods, and they were taking me through all the neighborhoods. And, I'm just riding through by myself, and I'm like, I'm in that back seat looking around like, oh man, put my head down.
Until we got to Altgeld Gardens and walked out in the middle of Altgeld Gardens in the middle of the night, and then I said, oh, I'm the one out of place.
Exactly. A.K.A. the Alligator Projects, and it was like the deepest South Side projects of the farthest South Side. Yeah, Wild Hunters, and we actually took pictures out there and gave respect to the neighborhood. But it allowed me to really tap into the city. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from St. Louis, but Chicago's different. Chicago has its own identity, has its own dialect, and I need to make sure that I pay respect to that in every form and fashion, and he helped me do that in Chicago, and Kris also as well. So doing that research, being a researcher about incarceration, doing that, knowing how it feels to come out of prison, and make sure I tap into that to do the research, and it's to that testimony. It's great when fans come up to me like, man, I was incarcerated, man, you played that role very well. That part and had that sentiment. But going to season 3, I felt a lot more comfortable with the character. And we always sit down with Gary, and he kind of gives us kind of a rundown of what to expect and how we're gonna do it. And then we go out there and it's like, okay, Let's get it. And how good the writing is, I really was getting frustrated in my own life with the character. I'm like, come on, Diamond. You know, like, come on. I was getting frustrated. So he allows me to start to use it, and I would use that in the character. And as we continue to do it, you know, it just starts to really unfold.
Absolutely. As you started to allude to it, but you all have developed, by way of your characters, your own special relationship with the city of Chicago. How has that developed? What has been the beauty in learning about Chicago through this role, through spending time in Chicago, especially knowing that, you know, the universe has been very, you know, or originated in New York, but spread its wings into Chicago. So what has that experience been like?
I'm gonna go first because they both Chicago. I'm just gonna tell them. So after we came back to film for season 2, Kris got there a couple of days before me, and I had to go to wardrobe. And Kris said, "Hey man, it's different." He said it's different. He said, "Man, I was walking down the street and 3 cars pulled over and said, Jenard," and started yelling. I'm like, he was like the fans. He said, "It's different, man." You know, and I was like, it made me more excited about coming back to the city. I was already excited, but just it elevated to see the people in Chicago just really gravitate and really fall in love with this show has been an amazing thing, because we know we want to be, you know, it starts there. It starts in Chicago. It starts with the fans there because we're in the city. And you know how proud people from Chicago are, just like New Yorkers. You know, so, you know, it was just a great feeling to go back, and it's just been nothing but love in Chicago. And if you hear anything different, on they line. It's nothing but love in the city of Chicago.
I took Kris and Shane back to my neighborhood where I grew up in Chicago to eat some pizza and drink some drinks. And remember when we were walking back to Jefferson Park Station, these 2 guys got out of their car, and the one guy goes, "Yo, what's up, Tommy? What's up, bro?" And the one guy goes like, "Bro, he's from here, bro. He's from here, like right here."
Yeah, Joseph had us walking. I don't know if any of y'all know, but Joseph is a walker. There's half of my job the entire season is trying to stop him from walking 3, 4, 10 miles through the city of Chicago alone. It was my job. I'm like, Joseph, you're Tommy from Power, bro.
I got a hat on. I got a hat and a mask.
It don't work. It does not work.
He loves to walk.
Gary, what about you and learning more about Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago was new to me, and I was just saying to these guys that I think that we had an experience that we'll never be able to replicate. Like when I came in, because I came in the second season, and I didn't know anyone really except Joseph, I had a very great experience because they had every reason to be like, who is this stranger coming into play on our playground? And I had the direct opposite experience with everybody. They welcomed me like you could not believe. Like we became close very quickly and like a family. And the crew in Chicago, we all loved. And it's hard to imagine that we're going to do another show at some point and not have them with us, because that's how close we became. So I will miss them. And I had a great time there. Like loved it.
I think, Gary, if I may just you know, in real time, like say and ask you, I feel like you trusted me because I hadn't lived in Chicago for 26 years by the time I went back. So I came home early and I did a lot of research. I went on not just the one ride along with Isaac, but I went on 7 of those, and I talked in different neighborhoods, and I went to different high schools and grammar schools for outreach programs. I talked with gangsters, and I talked with cops and robbers. And I think that Gary really respected that I did all of that and asked me questions and utilized me as and I did it for Tommy. I did it for no other thing. I'm just very grateful for STARZ for making me a producer. It made me very accessible to the writing staff. But Gary really was just like, hey, what do you think about A, B, and C? Here's a sample scene. And then Gary allowed me to say this street, say these 2 neighborhoods that will fill it out, because Chicagoans will hear that and they'll be like, oh, did you hear that? They meant us. And I felt like some of the success of the original Power show is because even though it wasn't exactly New York, it was New York skewed, but it was consistent. And Courtney did a great job on that. And that New York blessed the Power show. And also, again, Gary coming in season 2, that's really the heart and soul of the Tommy character. But New York blessed Power. And I think that Chicago, especially in this season, will bless this. So we will be blessed locally and we will explode globally.
A bar.
Oh, man, I'm always neighborhood. I never go Hollywood.
On the note of Tommy, again, like knowing your background and your history with Chicago and knowing that this was a kind of like a homecoming for you, How does it feel to bring Tommy's story and his arc as a person, as not quite villain, not quite hero, kind of full circle in this
He
season?
really is an anti-hero in a lot of ways, and there is a full circleness of it, but not for Tommy. And I think that was one of the things we had to understand, that we had a good first season, but I think the reason that we had a great second season and an amazing third season is because Tommy is a fish out of water. These things where Tommy cannot be Teflon in a new city. Like Kris was saying, there is also a racial dynamic in Chicago that is different than New York. When I took my wife there, my dad lived for a long time in a neighborhood called Auburn Gresham, which is in the 80s at 87th and May, St. Killian's Parish. And when we used to go down there, I brought my wife there. And I said to my wife, and I said, there's an all black thing. My wife is from like Elizabeth, New Jersey, and it's like, she's very lower income and this and that. She's like, oh no, I know all black neighborhoods. I said, no, you don't. This is an all black neighborhood in a mile in any direction. I said, people, when we get out of this car, anybody who doesn't know me from the neighborhood is gonna be like, that's police. Or like, who are these white people? Where did they come from? What are they doing here? They're not fixing anything. Where are their tools? Or like, are they? So it's like there is that racial dynamic, and I think that it's more present. I think represented in Jenard. And again, Gary went deeper and diversified into the black gangs. There's just one black gang running the south side of Chicago. There's 17 of them, and they all hate each other, and they pretend to like each other, or who or what. But so there's just this wonderful. Look at that complex episode. You know who directed that? Anthony Hemingway, who directed episode 1 of the original Power and episode 2. So I think that there was just this wonderful cohesive freedom in that episode. I got jazzed watching that, and I've already seen it twice.
What I love, especially, Joseph, what you mentioned backstage, is that there's this thread of brotherhood that comes across really strong, especially with the Sampson brothers. For Kris and Isaac, what has been maybe the joy or some of the challenges in displaying that type of brotherhood on screen, and what was some of the important elements you want to make sure came through in the portrayals of you both as brothers?
For me, I think with Diamond, I think he wanted to show the struggle of family. Like, we have family members that, they are family members, but we don't always get along with them. We're not always, we love them from afar, and, but they're still family. And I think showing that struggle of also showing that lack of communication, lack of love, lack of showing that love, and then it can always create turmoil. Because we always laugh about it. I was like, if Diamond just would have gave Jenard a hug a long time ago, Jenard would be all right. And Jenard, just admit it, you love your big brother. Like,
I do.
Right. But because of the heart, the hurt, the trauma, and things that are going on, I think what pivotal scene was in season 2 was showing the father scene. Showing, because you need to see the relationship and why it's like this. Why is Diamond so forgiving for his little brother? When you see his conversation with his father, that was revelation for Diamond. It's like to find out his father thinks he didn't like him because he was too strong, and I didn't need him. Diamond didn't need him, but Jenard did, and I need you to take care of your little brother. So despite of all the everything that's going on, what Jenard is doing, all his faults, Diamond said, "I got you." And he said, "I got you." And just that phrase alone can make you feel, and it made him feel like, it's like a blanket over somebody. It's like a big hug verbally. And, I think we do a great job of the writers of showing relationship challenges. Just how can you get along with somebody, how you don't get along with them, and just, just the underlying toxicity that they can kind of go into it, that your own brother will try to off you. But at the same time, you will try to forgive him later. And it's this, a lot of misunderstanding can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think the same as well. Jenard does, not necessarily a hug, but yes, if Jenard would have probably gotten a hug and I'm proud of you, Jenard, things could have gone a lot different from episode 101 of the show. I think that's a part of it. You know how sometimes that kid just wants to hear his dad say, "I love you, son. I'm proud of you."
Yes.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care that you bought me every Jordan that came out and I have every Xbox. Tell me you love me, damn it. And I think that's kind of what Jenard was craving for, that attention, because he didn't get it from his father. You know what I'm saying? So he was still like a little boy on the inside. So a part of him wanted that, but also he just wanted the recognition and respect of, like, look what I've done. Like, I understand this is your organization. I understand the things that you've done to get it to this point, but you haven't been here for 15, 20 years. Look where it is now. How do you think it got there? It probably started here. If we're talking 15 years, even with just things like inflation, if you might have left when you left 15 years ago, maybe with $900,000, $1 million or something, cool, but Now, 20 years later, it's probably worth millions, you know? And it's like a little recognition. I love the challenge of trying to show that, you know? And now I think the hardest part by season 3 is the fact that me and him in real life, me and Isaac, not Diamond, me and Isaac have become so close to the point where it feels like real brotherhood. So now it's so hard to do all of these scenes because I'm like, bro, I love you. Like, it's so like, and now we just like laughing all the time. Like, it's so hard to do a scene with him without laughing. By season 3, it's like, because I know I'm supposed to be so mad at him, but I know we just had the greatest night last night together. I know what we about to do when we get off work, and it's just like, I can't yell at you, and then we just start laughing.
Yeah, it's still gang though.
Yeah, it's still gang.
Gang.
Gary, for you, when developing both all Tommy and Diamond and Jenard, how was it important for that brotherhood to come through in the writer's room and making sure that it felt authentic, but also felt like there's something that the audience could get from it?
Yeah, I mean, that relationship between these two men and those characters are really important to me because, you know, as writers and artists, we use our own life as the tools that we bring into these characters and write about them. And for me, that relationship, I'm working out my own personal stuff. Like, I have 2 brothers, one I haven't spoke to in about 15 years, and another one committed suicide. And writing that stuff in 5 and talking about it in the room, I'm sort of healing my own wounds, right? I'm writing scenes that I wish that I was able to have in real life with my brother that didn't really happen. Like, I love when Diamond doesn't tell Jenard what exactly the father said in 205. And like, you know, for me, that's the goal, because we're writing a show that's action, you know, violence, you know, and gangsters, and like, they're more than that. Like, I wanted to know who the men were. What were they like as brothers? What happened to them? You know, there's a beautiful thing saying that when everybody stands in front of a judge, the judge shouldn't say, "Why did you do that?" The judge should say, "What happened to you?" That's what I'm interested in. That's what I like writing about. I like writing about the human condition and about why these people behave this way, because I believe that these 2 characters love each other deeply, but would kill each other. But if one of them was in a problem and they hadn't talked to each other in 10 years, and he just called him and said, "Diamond, I need you," boof, he would be there. Yeah.
In art imitating life in that way, but also, again, the authenticity. What were some of the fun things in making sure that, you know, we were able to come out, or some of the fun elements that you wanted to make sure, like, we have to bring this out of, you know, Tommy's character, like you mentioned, like Tommy angry, like, how, like what was that process like in making sure there was the same level of authenticity there? Yeah,
I mean, you know, everybody here knows the character of Tommy Egan. And so when we're in the writer's room, we'll be pitching on, what would Tommy do? What would Tommy do? And there'll be pitches, and I'll be like, nah, he wouldn't do that. Joe's going to fucking hate that. No, let's not do that. And then there's stuff like, yeah, that's exactly it. And you'll see there's a kill coming up that's really good. And I mean, you guys didn't see that head coming, right? You know, that was a good fucking thing. And that's what we do in the writer's room, is we look for these really great moments that we don't necessarily give you what you're going to see on somebody else's show, because let somebody else write that show. And so for us, it's finding, I love grit. I love high end, low end. I love everything in between. I love humor. I like dark humor. I love. I love sex. I want to see it all. And 50 always is like, keep it real, keep it street, keep it grimy. And so on my computer, I have keep it grimy.
Yeah. That was an Easter egg, though, too. That the head was an Easter egg you asked earlier, because that's what Ghost and Tommy did to the Taínos when in the original Power shows. They sent that message. I thought that was an incredible throwback. Not only, I mean, the head. My man Renee Castillo, guest star.
The head right here. The head right here. Front row.
Not to be too on the nose here, but I'm super curious, what has being in this universe and on this show in your respective capacities taught you all about power, taught you all about honing and balancing power in your
I'd like to say one thing, yeah. While writing the show, and in this season in particular, the thing that was really interesting to us as writers in the room is the idea of power, right? The original Power, the name of it is Power. I was interested this season in thematically looking at the idea that what would each of these characters do in order to get power? What would they do when they lost power? And what would they do to get power back? And if you look at all of these characters that are on stage tonight, and the other characters that are on the show, Shanti, Stacey Marks, by the way, Miriam, great actress.
Miriam Hyman.
Yeah, and actually that's a great example of like she was so good last season that when we went back into the writer's room this season, I was like, she deserves better. We need to give her a great storyline. You know, we need to give her blah, blah, blah. So anyway, but the idea of like power is very interesting to me. And I think all of us can relate to that. You know, and is it professional? Is it familial? Is it brother? The power shifts. And what happens when the power shifts? How do you deal with that?
It made me think of the expression that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you know, how close can you get with still having some sort of humanity?
It makes me think, what are you willing to sacrifice for it? And what's your idea, as Gary said, what is your idea of power? You know, everybody has a different idea of it, and I think they show that in all the characters. They all have different ideas of what power is to them and how they want to go about getting it. And what are they willing to do? Who are they willing to align themselves with? And how long are they willing to do that for? You know, because in this street game, you're constantly looking over your shoulder. Every day is not promised you. Each day is you know, you put your feet 10 toes down the next day they might be up, you know, because that's just how the game goes. And I see I dropped something there, didn't I? Yeah, you like that, didn't you? But I think, and it's just a great journey to see everybody struggle with how they presume power is.
I just thought about a line. I can't remember if it was season 1 or 2. It was something like, and I said it, those in the proximity of power are often think they yielded. What did you write? You remember? You know what I'm talking about. You wrote this. This was season 2. I forget it, but that's what I started thinking about. Like sometimes you can think you have power, but you really don't. So the illusion of power could be a thing. And also, I feel like Jenard is thinking the whole time, no one man should have all that power, i.e. Tommy. And I think that's what Jenard thinks, and low key with his girl as well. Like I think that's his thought process for a lot of characters. No one person should have all that power, and sometimes people think they have power, but it's just the illusion of power.
Kris, for Jenard, how are you, without giving too much away, but what excites you about his evolution given these definitions of power as the season progresses?
The journey excites me. The journey that the fans get to go on to see the evolution, because it's not just like, okay, Jenard's just sober now and he's good and now him and his brother are friends and he likes Tommy. It's like, nah, it's like, okay, there's an evolution, but the journey that the fans get to go on, I'm excited for the fans to see that. That's what I'm excited. This journey, man, y'all gonna hate me.
Yeah. But what I also want to say about Kris Lofton, though, as the character of Jenard, that was the fun thing to write about in the writer's room, is like not just to make him a street dude that's really violent and really crazy and erratic, but show his heart, right? Show his love. Like the love he has for Shanti is real, right? And like what's that like? Show his desire for that brotherhood kind of thing. And that's really exciting to write to and to watch happen.
Same for you, Isaac. How about Diamond's development and evolution? Do we see him lose his cool more this season? Like, what are you excited to see for the fans?
It seems like everybody want to see Diamond lose his cool a little bit more. Like they just waiting on it. So we've been giving little tidbits as we going. Like season 2, we ended off very strong on the aspect. As we see in season 3, I think we talked about is just like what is he deciding to do? I feel like the word conflicted is really something that goes on with Diamond. Like, and I think that you're going to see, and it's going to make you angry to see how he tries to bring his brother in, but at the same time, he's trying to keep Tommy at bay and try to say, okay, we're trying to appease it, we're trying to do these things, but at the same time, I don't really know if we should do it that way, and does that work? Because Tommy's motive in this engine, I believe, is like he's going to get it. Because when you look at it, Diamond was good. We was good with the South Side. Yep. Mr. Ambition came to the city, and he took it to another level, and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go along with the journey as well, too. Let's figure it out. Jenard, just be cool. Be cool. Act right. So I think, as we continue to go, it's going to be some excitement in trying to see when Diamond loses his cool, which he will at some point, and just see where these alliances really lie. Can he keep it together, or does he just lose control or just go all out of whack?
One of the things on writing Diamond this season for us in the writer's room was we thought of him and his character and the actor Isaac of like obviously being this gentle giant, and then we wanted to Hulk him out. We were like, what? Let's see him become Hulk. let's see him. And when he does that, you'll see in the season there's a couple of really incredible, great things that he gets to do and that you don't see coming.
And to talk about what Isaac said about Tommy, Mr. Ambition, I said this the first season of the Power Show. After the first season, I said I always wanted Tommy. My favorite documentary of all time is called Style Wars. It's a New York documentary about hip hop, mainly graffiti, which was my bag. And there is a guy in there, a real guy, rest in peace, but he wrote Cap from Morris Park in the Bronx. And he said, I don't want the biggest or the most beautifulest. I want more. And that was Tommy. And I said, that's Tommy. So, and it still is. And they write for that.
On that note, Joseph, has there been anything up to this point of Force, Power Book for Force, that has surprised you about Tommy in comparison to how we were first introduced to Tommy?
How naive he still is with women. That's cool. Man, I love that girl.
He's a little bit of a lovey-dovey person when you let him.
Yeah. But I think that speaks to all of our naivete. Oh, I just, what are you doing? You're moving in with that person you just met. I know, but I love them. And Tommy's still got that. And I think that that's another opportunity for us to see ourselves in the character.
Is there something that's still not surprising about how Tommy shows up and presents himself in the universe?
It was surprising to me by the end of the Power Show when there would be like situations, which I won't mention because I'm going to keep everything positive, which I loved. But why wouldn't Tommy is the guy, he's going to kill everybody. And then he's going to be like, fuck. Even at that time, now he has to be more strategic than that now that he's in this. But sometimes when we weren't there all the time, I could say to Gary, shouldn't he just kill everybody? Gary's like, okay, look, let me put this in place so he can't kill this. Okay, great. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Thank you.
But for Kris, Isaac, and Joseph, even with your characters, it's you have a hope that they make it through, but you just never know. Their lives truly do hang in the balance.
Nobody's safe in power.
Nobody is safe. So how do you bring that?
We can come back as ghosts.
You can. So how do you approach, those portrayals in the role, knowing that at any given second it could drop?
I mean, for me, I approached it just like make sure I give it my all, but also let my hair down, if you will. It's like, okay, just take it there because this may or may not be your last scene. You never know. And like, luckily, they don't just make us find out as soon as we open the script. They would tell us at least, y'all try to do at least, an episode or two ahead of time if y'all know in advance. Yeah, they don't just like flat out surprise us, like reopen the script, you're dead. It's not like that.
Surprise.
But sometimes I read it. That's what I told people. What I used to do is every time I would get a script, I would never just read it automatically. I would go to the last 7 to 11 pages of the end of the episode, and I would read through the action, not even the lines. I don't even care for real about the lines. I'm just looking for Jenard's name. I don't care what the line says. And then the action is if they still say Jenard sits and drives. Okay, Jenard's alive if he's driving. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Now let's go back to the beginning and read it. Now I'm invested, And that's kind of how I do. So I approached it kind of like that, like, okay, give it my all because it may be my last.
Same. I mean, I treat it like it was street justice. Like you just didn't know. When you in this game, you don't know how long you're going to survive. So I would treat the scenes as such. It's like, okay, well, let me just, like you said, give it your all and bring it. And, it's easy to do when the writing is really good. So it's like, okay, and we, as actors, we challenge each other in the scenes. You need to come prepared because we don't know, like, with the Tommy character, Joseph can do so much with that character that's not on paper. And you need to be prepared to be able to go along with that. And it makes you a better actor as well. And the same thing with our relationships with Jenard and all the other actors. They're so talented on this cast. Like, I'm sitting here and watching it and all like, look at Shane Harper playing Vic. Like, I'm tapping Chris. I'm like, man, he is killing it right now. Maria, Maria, Miguel. Like we are so blessed to have such an amazing cast. And you all are too, to be able to see them do all this great acting that it's like, on set, we all understood that. We understand that nobody's safe in power, and power never dies.
Hashtags, guys. Those are hashtags.
Power truly never dies. And I mean, look at this fandom. Like, the energy stepping out here. something that has endured for over a decade in the Power universe. What do you all think is the thing, the special formula, the sentiment that keeps this fandom so engaged and wanting more every single week?
One of the big things is the fans themselves. You guys are unbelievable. You're like a car battery. You kind of self-generate. It's like this high, and then it turns back on. And it really and truly is that the fans have incorporated themselves. The fans are the reason the show became huge themselves. This was a grassroots show. I mean, it had to be in some ways, and then it got to the place where the network was able to say, "Hey, okay, yes, and here we go," and there's more, and there's more, and there's more. But this was this was the fans that said, "We are blessed this show. We want this show," and then it allowed them to just kind of keep propagating more and more and giving their energy. It's been amazing. I'm so grateful for the fans. Yeah, thank you guys.
There was a moment, actually, Renee had said this to me, and I was doing this event out here in New York for the Classic, Morehouse vs. Howard Classic out here in New York. And he said, because fans would come up and they say, "Hey, take a picture." And he said, "Hey, man," he said, "You realize your show hasn't been on in about 18 months? And these fans are still loving you, loving your character, loving your show. So I don't know what it is, but I wish I could bottle it up and sell it." I mean, because because you all are amazing, and I'm just glad to be a part of this world. This Power Universe world is just like, it's like no other,
Yeah, that's it. I got nothing to add. It's the truth. It's y'all. It's the fans. It's the fans that did it. It's definitely the fans that did. I got nothing else to add. I feel like y'all hit it on the head.
For me, I think that Courtney hit a recipe that she wrote a show that people had not seen before and had not seen themselves in it, and it was high end, low end. And I think that we wrote, TV is all about characters, right? So it's not plot. Like, you just love the characters. And I think that we hit on a bunch of characters, thank God, that the fans love, and they will ride through ups and downs and ins and outs and all of that. And for me, it's been a life-changing experience to work on the show. And I think it's because of the fans. They latched on. They love the characters. I mean, people are still, asking me, "Is Ghost coming back?" I said, "I talked to Amari yesterday." Never say never. But it hit a moment. It hit a zeitgeist moment. We hit, and the fans lined up, and really grateful that we're still here doing it.
On that note, are there any fan theories that you've seen or heard that really have piqued your interest over the years?
Definitely, but I'm not going to tell you them. Yeah.
Anyone else? Any fan theories?
I mean, it's amazing when they get it exactly right, or it's amazing when you're just like, what in the world did you just watch? But, yeah.
And thinking of the legacy of this show, what's something that you all respectively want these fans to leave behind, or 10, 15, 20 years behind? Like, man, this is my show, and I remember when Tommy did this and Diamond did this. Like, what do you hope fans are able to be left with when the show ends?
Just what you did, the emotion. I saw myself in here. I got excited. I was entertained, but I saw myself. Like Gary said, the human condition. Maybe they learned a little bit more about life and loss and love, and they were allowed to see themselves in these characters. I mean, through a great writing and great performances, and I think we have that, and in a new way that I think you're totally right, Gary, that people didn't see themselves in, that weren't allowed into this diverse of a gangster world.
I mean, you say that about a moment, and like immediately for me as a fan of the show, because I'm still a fan of the show, believe it or not, and a fan of the original Power. But like, if I were to look at these three guys and be like, the moment that I'll remember that I'm like, I feel like fans in the future will remember, I think of Jenard when he has that crazy monologue about, "It's my fucking movie." Like, that's a moment we're never gonna forget, and that's amazing. And with Isaac, with Leon, when he comes in the street and he sees him there and he gets down to the thing, like, that's a moment that is a movie moment I'll never forget. When Tommy choked out Holly, yeah. It might not be his best moment, but
Maybe not a shining moment, but a memorable moment.
Yeah. Maybe with the head.
Maybe with the head.
And saying goodbye to each of your characters, Kris, I'll start with you. What's a parting gift, a parting lesson you'd give to Jenard?
You said a parting lesson? That's tough. What's a part of the lesson that I would give to Jenard? That Jenard tried his best. Jenard was trying his best the whole time.
That's real. And that was his best. For him,
I tried my best, man. Like I tried. Jenard was trying his best.
Who's better than you?
That's really what I would say. He tried his best. I can't stop laughing. See?
I think part of this for Diamond is that, you know, how important is family? And what are you willing to do for them or not do for them? And I think that's very relatable to everyone in this room. So I think that's what's going to unfold, and you're going to see a lot of that, you know, and I think it's very relatable to everyone. Family.
Power does not equal happiness.
Very deep.
Sorry, Tommy.
And Joseph, again, for you who has known Tommy intimately for such a long time and gotten to develop with him, what has this show, specifically Power Book 4 Force, meant to you? What has this show, how has it gifted you in different ways?
Power Book 4 Force Season 3 was an amazing experience. It was, there were arduous times, but again, I mean, champagne problems the whole way through. What a luxury to be a professional actor. I mean, I get paid. I was a professional actor for 39 years. I was able to pay my bills for the last 10. It's just, it's.
Hey, that's real. Yep.
I mean, that's real. So to get to that point of being a professional actor, being able to pay my bills, having fun with my dear, great friends for the rest of my life, my brother for life, who I owe this character to, the heart and the soul of Tommy Egan. I would love to be like, yeah, I did that. And where are my awards? And but it's like Gary Lennon is truly the other half of this character. There would be no Tommy without Gary Lennon, because we had a wonderful first season of the Power Show and a great character and super well written. And I'm so grateful to Courtney for the opportunity. But when Gary came and added what was really the heart and the soul of the personal experience of the Tommy character, I mean, season 2, episode 10. I don't know if you guys remember this, when Tommy and Ghost are arguing after Kanan tried to kill Ghost, and Ghost came back. Where were you, Tommy? And he's like, "Oh yeah, you still alive, huh?" But he was willing, to sacrifice it when Ghost pulled the gun on him. He's like, "Then do it." Like, if that means you'll stay in the game, I will sacrifice myself. And there's no greater love than to sacrifice yourself for your friends. And he wanted to sacrifice himself for his friend and truly did. And I had to play that. And I remember seeing that was the truest moment to me up until that point of Tommy Egan, because he really had to be like, I will give up my life for my brother to stay in this game, because I think that that's what's right in this world, as twisted as that would be. So yeah, I mean, what a ride.
Isaac, what about you in this show? What has it meant to you to just have a part in this show and its legacy? What has it been like to have just a part of this legacy and be in this show? What has it gifted you?
It's life changing. I've been like, these guys, I haven't been acting as long as they have, but as an actor, you're just looking for your next job. You're trying to find it's like, can you sustain throughout this journey to be able to get a role like this? Can you do the other jobs? Can you work as security guard? Can you be a waiter? Can you work at a group home? Can you do all those things until you get to the point where the stars and the moon align and you get a role like this? So when you get it, I'm very grateful. It's been life changing. Have a lot more opportunities. I'm walking in different circles, different rooms. Again, able to pay some bills. I'm about to find a new job now, but we don't.
We're all in the same boat.
Right. So, but we'll do that too. The hope is still there. But again, it's life changing in the build that just again have such a fan base and people that's really attached to this show, to this character, and for me to really had the opportunity to bring Diamond Samson to life. Again, man, it's just an honor.
To piggyback off Isaac, honestly, it's truly an honor. And it's life-changing for real. Specifically for me, too, because I've been acting for 27 years. Not as long as Joseph, but long to me.
I'm older than you.
But you still got me. But so for me, since I've been doing it for so long, this means more than anybody can imagine to me, because I've actually I really did the 10,000 hours and counting. I've probably been 10,000 hours plus 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I'm very appreciative. It's a very humbling thing. It's over the moon excitement. And I remember I sat down with the creator, Robert Munich. I sat down with him, and I remember he told me one time before season 1 aired, after we finished filming season 1, it hadn't been on TV yet, he called me and he was like, "Hey Kris, what's going on? What are you up to?" I'm like, "Nothing, chilling." He was like, "You know what? You're gonna be a star." He said, "If I were you, I'd take that walk at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. while you still can. I'd go to the movie theater and just sit in there without people bothering you. I'd go do all that now because pretty soon here that anonymity is gonna be gone, brother." And in the moment, I didn't think nothing of it because to me, I'm still like, I've never been on a show like Power. I'm like, yeah, whatever, what's he talking about? And because of how great this fan base is, I'm like, he's right. He was right. It's like, wow, the anonymity is truly gone. And for that, that's a blessing. Because I always look at it like fans don't owe us anything. That's what I tell myself as an actor. Like, fans owe us nothing. We owe them everything. Like, they don't. Who cares if you're having a bad day? Who cares if they don't even know. They don't even have to know my real name. At the end of the day, we're in their homes every week, and they sit down and they watch it with their loved ones, with their family, with their wives, with their kids, everything like that. And they're like, "Hey, I'm walking down the street. That's damn Diamond. That's Jenard. And get over here and take this picture. Get over yourself." You know? And I try to me, it's a very humbling thing, and it's a responsibility. Because heavy is the head, and to whom much is given, much is required. So you can't have one without the other. Like, you can't want something like this, you know? I'm going to just stop there. I think that's a good stop note. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead.
Even Robert Munich got a better white guy imitation than...
I don't talk to him much, Joe. I don't have his dialect down. I don't talk to him much.
But Gary, same for you. What has the show given to you and the gift that it's been?
Honestly, very similar to all of us. It was life-changing. Like, I've been a member of the Writers Guild since I was 29, right? And I worked on great shows, you know, Orange is the New Black, The Shield, Justified. I was sort of a journeyman writer, and I had done good work. But it was when I came into the Powers Writers Room season 2 that all of a sudden, my whole journey there to that room, to that seat, made sense. And my life story, and I have a really crazy personal backstory, you know, orphans, craziness, violence, all that stuff. I was just sort of like telling my story, and they were like, "Yeah, that's good." And so I knew I had found my tribe, actually. You know, I really remember, like, I think it was the second week, Randy Huggins, who created BMF, who was a dear friend of mine and worked on Power as well, came up with Cancel Christmas line. Yes, he did. Randy did. Yeah. But, you know, after my second week or third week there, something like that, but I was really like, I was sort of a story engine person. I was like, but then we do this, and then this person happened. And then I remember coming into work, and Randy had started a thing like, one of us. It was such a welcoming thing. And then it was like fire. I just took to it. And, you know, for me, it was life-changing because it was clear that I was supposed to be in that room of writers who were all still friends. And then coming up to this show as well, it was so clear that my sort of lived life experience was necessary to write the show. So I'm super grateful beyond.
Well, thank you all for pouring into these roles, pouring into the series. While we're sad to see it go, we're so excited to see the rest of the season play out. Thank you for this conversation. It's such a privilege. Thank you. And you guys make sure you tune in. It's not over. Make sure you tune in.